Hello, and thank you for purchasing this product. I really believe it will help you get your highest score in IELTS. Hello, and thank you for buying my product. I really believe it will help you get your highest score possible in IELTS. First, we have to know what the examiner is thinking. We have to understand how the examiner marks your speaking. Do you know about the test? A common question is about the format or how many parts. So there are 3 parts. You probably know this already. Make sure you know the difference between the parts. Part 1 is more like a casual conversation. Part 2, you have to speak by yourself, a monologue. And Part 3 is more formal, like a discussion. In total, the test takes 11 to 14 minutes. Of course, the test must be recorded so that other professional IELTS examiners can check that your speaking examiner made the right decision. You must take the ID that you used to apply for the test into the speaking exam. Now, there are many websites that are from Cambridge and IELTS themselves that are much more qualified to answer your questions. So please look on the internet and find out the answers. Don't go to the test without feeling confident. Now for how you are marked. You can find this information freely on the internet, but if English is your second language, it probably looks very confusing and frustrating. So that's why I've made this video to help you. How can you please the examiner? Well, the examiner is using descriptors or criteria to score your writing and your speaking. The examiner cannot mark you according to his own opinion. The examiner must match your speaking with the criteria. Therefore, you have to meet or match the criteria. So this is why I've made this video, so you can understand the criteria and match them in your speaking text. There are 4 criteria: fluency and coherence, lexical resource, which means vocabulary, grammar, of course, and pronunciation. Let's look at each of these so you don't feel like this. Ask yourself these questions. Do my ideas connect when I speak? Does my next idea connect logically with the order of ideas before? Does my speech flow like a river? And does my speech have too many stops and starts where the sentences aren't correct? How can you overcome these problems? Firstly, choose the next idea carefully. Don't just rush. Think about what you're going to say. You need to use the right linking words and techniques, and in the 10 videos that follow, I will show you many examples. You need to practice. Get onto websites like TED or other speaking websites and follow the script and practice speaking at the same time. And number 4, do not practice single words. You need to practice whole phrases and whole expressions all together. So that's how to get a really high score in fluency and coherence. What about your vocabulary or lexical resource? Do you use the best word for the situation? Do you use the right word form? that is adjective, noun, adverb or verb? Do you use a variety of words and expressions, or do you say the same linking word over and over again? And do you paraphrase yourself, that is, say the same thing but in a different way? How can you answer yes to these questions? There's no miracle. You have to study vocabulary, and this is super important. Learn phrasal verbs like take up a hobby, look into a problem. For example, you have to learn the difference between ing and ed, for example, because this is a common problem with using the wrong word form. When you learn a meaning, like let's say, for example, you're talking about reading the newspaper, make sure you learn a few words for this. Newspaper, reporters, journalists, newsreader, journalism. So make sure you learn a wide variety. And in the same way, learn some expressions for one meaning. Like, if you feel tired in the morning, you can say, I always feel tired when I wake up. Or, when I first open my eyes in the morning, sometimes I don't feel alert. So learn some range of expressions for one meaning. What about grammar? Do you mix simple, compound and complex sentences? Do you make too many mistakes? Do you use the right English word order? So, my number one tip is do not always speak in long sentences. This does not impress the examiner because English speakers sometimes use simple sentences. So make sure when you respond to the examiner, sometimes you can just use simple sentences. You are speaking, not writing. You need to get the little things right. I have, it has. He or she has. They have. These are the little mistakes that IELTS speakers make all the time, and it just pulls your grammar score down. And look at my tip number 3. It is so obvious. Don't speak in your first language before the speaking test. Spend the hour before the speaking test talking to yourself in English or meet up with an English friend. Do English speakers understand you? How are your sounds? Do you put the stress in the right place for meaning? And can you and do you naturally go up or down with your voice for meaning? Again, there's no mystery, there's no miracle. You have to practice, practice, practice with English speakers. There are so many online learning tools now where you can speak with English speakers and pay very little. Make sure you know which sounds are different from your own language. Learn words at the same time as learning the stress pattern. A word like hospital or uncomfortable. Don't just learn the spelling and the meaning, learn where the stress is. And my last tip is, if you use websites like TED just to practice speaking, you can also hum like this. This will help you feel the English intonation. Let's look at some very quick examples. The student says to the examiner, I want to go to shopping, and my friend not want to go to shopping. Is this good English? No. The examiner will think this. There are 4 grammatical mistakes, and the speaker did not use appropriate up and down or intonation. I wanted to go shopping, and my friend did not want to go shopping. Did you hear where I stressed? I wanted to go shopping, but my friend did not want to go shopping. Hear the stress and the up and the down and the grammatical corrections. What about this one? Now, I don't want you to read it or speak it with your voice because it's wrong. Wait until you see the correct version. Despite my mum being an older lady, she is really fit. She loves to go jogging and everyone thinks she looks good. I mean, for her age, she looks quite young. There was a wrong linking word. There were 3 grammatical errors. However, the student did paraphrase himself and there was some good expression. Now, I'm here to help you. I also have writing products available and you can find them at englishtesthelp.co. Keep going now. You will find the video lessons so useful. I wish you all the best.